Hey guys and girls, welcome to another Sunday afternoon chat. I am in the woods after church on a Sunday afternoon, and it's a nice, beautiful Sunday afternoon. We've got rain coming in, they say. It's in the forecast, 80, 90, 100% chance of rain all over Oklahoma, and even some at the Eagle. So we're excited about that. We've had a busy week out there. We had a great church today, just thinking about what happened today. The end of this week or the start of next week, however way you want to look at it. I did get to spend the weekend here at Sherry and Jack's with my beautiful wife, Chris. She just is so pretty. I just love her so much. And when people at church ask her how she's doing, she said all about the same. And you know, that's probably a fairly good explanation. She's really not changing a whole lot now at all. She's still struggling with her speech, but saying more and more things that are perfectly understandable and full sentences, 8 or 10 words, and that doesn't sound like very much, but it's just like the greatest thing in the world to hear her say an 8 or 10 word sentence. It just, and then especially if it's a sentence we haven't told her to repeat, a sentence that we did. We do that too, because she just needs to get all of that stuff running through her brain. We're not too far away from going to Mexico and get that stem cell transplant. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at that and see how much difference it makes. But I really believe that God is leading me to that. My buddy Gary Cotton has been taking stem cell therapies for the last 3 years, once every 6 months. I think he's going to do it once a year now, and it's made a tremendous difference in his life and his wife's life, and he really believes it'll help Chris. And they've got one that's quite a bit more expensive than just a normal one, but it's made specifically to help stroke victims. So we're really hoping on that. But I got to go to church with Chris. We had a great church service. My granddaughter Jordan beating the drums. They even moved the praise team around on the stage so I could see Jordan beating those drums. That's right. That's what kind of pull I got at Keys Baptist Church. Actually, my daughter got that pull. I didn't have that pull. She got that done. But I'm just an old ex-deacon there at that church. I'm a deacon down there now at Midway Hills Baptist down between Sulphur and Davis, Oklahoma. But anyway, we're hopeful, and we're looking forward to that trip to Mexico. It's coming up here in the not too distant future, and we might shoot some video on that. I don't know really what we'll do on that. I hadn't really thought about it. We're just mostly interested in getting Chris, making her well, getting her better, and God is working every single day at that. He's working every single day, and we thank you so much for all your prayers. You've just prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. I did also want to mention that if you are not subscribed to our Catch of the Day channel, we've got 110,000 people on this channel. We've got 600,000 plus on Facebook, and only about 18,000 on our Catch of the Day. So there's a lot of y'all that are not subscribed to that Catch of the Day channel. Go in there and subscribe to that channel on YouTube, even if you're on Facebook, because if you're subscribed to that channel, you'll have all of those daily devotionals, one for every single day of the year for the last 2 years, or maybe a little over 2 years. And so you've got 700 or 800 daily devotionals there. All of those fishing tips, all of those scriptures. And you can, if you're having some problems in your day, if you're having things that are not going right, or the world's not treating you right, or somebody said something or done something bad to you, you can go to that channel on YouTube and just scroll down through all those devotionals, those daily devotionals. Hit one of them. Don't matter. Hit one of them. And I promise you, God will have you stop on the one that will help you, that will help your day, that will make your day better. And He will supernaturally start interacting in your life. He doesn't just do it random. He does it to the people that honor Him by reading His Word. And every one of those devotions got a scripture in there. So God will direct you to the right ones that'll help you. So if you're not subscribed to the Catch of the J channel, go in there and do that right now. This week, like I said, was a good one. It's a really busy week. I got a really busy week coming up this next week. We got a couple of appearances this next week. Actually, I guess you might say 3. By the way, I'll just throw them out there right now. We will be in Pensacola at Highland Park Baptist Church. We've been there before. Great people. Highland Park Baptist Church in Pensacola on Tuesday night for a big wild game feast or a catfish fry or something. I'm not sure, but I know that I'll be speaking at that event. They've usually got door prizes, and they got a lot of great food and great fellowship and great people. If you're not going to any church at all around that area, that might be a good one to check out. That might be a good time to look at it. Is this coming Tuesday night? Highland Park Baptist in Pensacola. If you do go to another church, they'd love to have you come over and visit their church that night. I don't know how much tickets we have available. I don't know if the tickets even cost anything. Many times they don't. If they do, it's a minimal amount to kind of help cover the food. So I don't really know. I know we had a great event there before, though. I know it was a great event. We had a lot of fun, and you will be blessed. God will honor you, and He will reward you for being there if you come see us that night. I'll be at the Bass Pro Shop in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, up in Tulsa on Friday about 2 o'clock for a meet and greet. So if you're anywhere around, you might want to come over there. They have the big U.S. Open Bass Pro $1 Million Tournament. That is the last tournament before the finals on Table Rock in November. And the tournament will be on Grand Lake. But we will be at the Bass Pro Shop store for a meet and greet. You'll get to meet a lot of the fishermen. You'll get to meet a lot of the pros. I was talking to my buddy Edwin Evers this week. He will be there. Probably several other fishermen, professional fishermen from around Oklahoma. Roland Martin has been at most of those. I hadn't talked to Roland about whether he's going to be or not, but he probably will be there. And then we will be out at Grand Lake the next day at that Wolf Creek Park where they'll have the tournament. I think the weigh-in starts about 3 o'clock, so you want to get over there for that weigh-in if you're anywhere around Grand Lake. We'll be out there, I'll probably be there by about 1 or so. You know, I'll be there a couple hours ahead of time so I can visit with people and sign autographs, take pictures, kiss babies or whatever. You know, I love to hug babies. But anyway, that's where we'll be. We'll be at Broken Arrow at the Bass Pro Shop store on Friday. Friday afternoon. They have the captain's meeting there. All the people that's in that tournament, a lot of y'all will be in that tournament and will be there. Come by and say hi. And I'll be at the weigh-in on Saturday afternoon. So and we got a pretty busy week scheduled this week. I am fishing with Alex Rudd from down in Knoxville. I'm going to be fishing with him on Thursday this week. I think we're going to try to do a television show and also do some YouTube stuff. Alex has got a YouTube channel. I believe it's Alex Rudd Fishing. Great YouTube channel. You might want to go over there and check him out and subscribe to his channel. Show him a little love. We'll be doing some YouTube stuff that will be on his YouTube as well as ours, and we'll be doing that, I think, on Thursday this week. So we have every single solitary day booked for the next 6 or 7 days. We're looking forward to a great week. This past week was just about as busy. My boss at Shell Oil Company, Shell Rotella, came in on a Sunday afternoon. We fished a little bit Sunday evening. I fished with a winner from a Shell Rotella tournament that Shell Rotella did. I fished with a couple of winners, one from Iowa, and his brother was from, I think, California. But we had a great day. We caught 60 bass, and I kept complaining about the fishing being so difficult. And finally, Luke and Brett, and Luke finally said, "Jimmy, this is the most bass we've ever caught in our life." So I guess 60 is a great day. It is a great day, no doubt about it, but I was hoping for a few more than that. And the amazing thing, listen to me, the amazing thing about that is that we never caught a 5-pound bass. We had maybe a 4. We had quite a few, 2.5 to 3.5 pounders, and we had a lot of nice fish, but we never caught a 5-pound bass, not a single one. We fished all day Tuesday. We had a great dinner that evening, and we went to Smokin' Joe's, which is a local barbecue place there. The guy that owns it goes to our church, and he's just got the best barbecue in the world, and he's right there at Davis, Oklahoma, and it's just packed all the time because his food is so spectacular. But Brad had gone over there and got barbecue ribs and brisket and all the trimmings, and we had a great barbecue dinner. We visited until well after dark and just had a tremendous day on Monday. But then they left, and Brad stayed and could fish till noon. So Brad and I, we don't get to do that very much because we're usually taking Shell customers fishing, and Brad is simply, taking care of them and making sure that they're having a great time. And these were not Shell customers; they were winners of the Shell Rotella contest, where you register and with Shell and be able to win a fishing trip with me, and that's what that was. But Brad and I got to go out, and Brad and I we fished until about noon. And we only caught 10 bass. But listen to this. The very first one we caught, the very first one was over 7 pounds. The next one was over 5 pounds. The next one was over 5 pounds. And so I told Brad, I said, wouldn't you know it? We had those guys out here yesterday and we couldn't get these giants to bite. But the wind had been blowing out of the east on Monday. It changed back around to the southeast on Tuesday. And it just caused those bigger fish to start biting, I think. I went back out Tuesday evening I went back out Tuesday evening as I'm going to load my boat. So I went back out just trying it out a little bit. The very first bass I caught that evening was over 7 pounds. The next bass I caught, and I saw that bass, I was watching my Garmin LiveScope, I saw that bass eat my plastic worm. I had an 8-inch Lucky Strike worm fishing at 13 foot deep, and I was watching my worm as it was coming down through there, watching on my LiveScope, and I saw this big bass come up behind it and eat it. And it was over 8 pounds. And I caught only one more fish, and it was a 5-pounder. So I'd caught a 7 and a 5 that morning. I caught a 7, an 8, and a 5 that evening. And I didn't catch any more fish than that. 3's all I caught. Well, no, I think I caught one small one, about 1.5 pounds. So maybe I caught 4 that evening. But we had not caught a 5-pound fish the day before. That just shows you, and I did say all that just to tell you how important it is, the weather. You remember my little poem that I taught everybody a long time ago? When the winds from the east, the fish bite the least. That's what it was Monday. When the wind's from the south, it blows the bait into the fish's mouth. When the wind's from the west, the fish bite the best. And when the wind's from the north, fishermen should not venture forth. So the north wind or an east wind's bad. South wind, west wind is good. Good. You remember that little deal right there? Because it'll make a difference in how you fish. I'm going to go fishing no matter where the wind's blowing. And but an east wind's a tough one. It's a tough one. We caught a lot of fish, but those big fish didn't bite until the next day when that wind switched around a little bit to the south. But and even then the bite was pretty tough. October is a great month. You have a lot of days in the mid 70s. Water temperature's down about 73, 74 degrees down in southern Oklahoma. You would think everything is perfect, but the fish scatter out, and they're in a lot of places. And it is actually a hard month to fish. We think it's a lot like April, but it's not. There's no comparison. This time of the year, the fish are mostly tuned in on food. Back in April, they're tuned into sex. So that's the total difference. And it's a big one. I can tell you that, guys and girls. It is a big one. So it's kind of difficult out there right now. It's a hard bite in most of the places. I've talked to a lot of fishermen, and the conditions are great. It's great to be out there, but the catching is not as good as you might think it'd be. Actually, it'll probably be better in November. But also I wanted to mention real quick, like I said, we've had a great week. I got to come over and spend the weekend with Chris, go to church with her. I'll be going to church with her again next week. After we get back from Grand Lake on Saturday night, we'll get to go with her. I did want to have a big shout out to my buddies on the Oklahoma University football team and Lincoln Riley and all the great coaches down there. What an incredible, crazy game. We thought last year's 4 overtime game could not be topped. Let me tell you, Boomer Sooners, you did it yesterday. Texas, you got to be proud. I mean, you got to be proud. Even in defeat, y'all were about as good as I've ever seen you. And you got a great Oklahoma quarterback down there in Casey Thompson, and you got the best running back I've ever seen. Although our Kennedy Brooks did pretty good too. But Boomer Sooner, that's all I'm going to say is Boomer Sooner. Also, and I mentioned it, and I'll continue to mention it for the next couple of weeks, our very first Jimmy Houston Outdoors newsletter drops November 1. You can get on that newsletter list free by simply going to jimmyhouston.com. There's a pop-up there. It tells you how to give us your email address. If we have already got your email address, you'll be on that. You'll be getting that newsletter. So if you've entered some of our contests and given us your email address, you'll be there. So around November 1, hopefully on November 1, you should get an email of our newsletter, and we'll have information from a lot of our sponsors. We'll have information on personal appearances I have coming up, and I don't do a lot of personal appearances in November and December, but I do have some. I do about 60 to 80 a year, but I do have some in November and December. I've got one actually the very last day of the year working for Shell, as a matter of fact, but Shell Rotel has just been a great sponsor. I mean, they're just such great people. They have Quaker State and they have Pennzoil. But if you've got a diesel engine, do not even think about buying anything but Shell Rotella oil for that diesel engine. It's like they have about 70% of the market, and their oil is so good they should have 100% of the market. That's what I believe. But anyway, it's a great, tremendous product. But we do quite a few appearances for them, and we'll be doing some in November and December. But we'll be having information from our sponsors. We'll make it available for our sponsors if they want to have some deals where you can go into places like you might be able to even go into some of the stores and get some Shell Rotella at a $5 a gallon discount or something like that. I don't know. We'll have a discount coupon in that newsletter when you're ordering and stuff from us, you'll be able to get a discount on anything you order. We will have, I don't know what all we'll have on there. We will have some videos that are videos made specifically for that newsletter. So it'll be kind of a cool deal. And you'll be getting a personal email newsletter from Jimmy Houston every single month. And at first, it's probably not going to be the greatest newsletter in the world, but as we go along, we're going to get better and better at it. And we want to make it as a service to y'all, the people that follow us on YouTube and on Facebook or Catch of the Day channel, those of you that are on Twitter and Instagram, and those of you that are on Fishbrain. We actually got a couple 100,000 people now on Fishbrain that follow us. So, and that's an app, of course, that you got to get on your telephone. But with that newsletter, we want it to be a really, really big deal also. I want to mention, and I don't know if I mentioned it yet already, that Catch of the Day channel. We're trying to get that thing up to 20,000 by 2022. It'd be nice to get it to 22,000. That'd be cool. We're only at about 18,000 now. And that's not the kind of channel that YouTube puts in front of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people every day. We have to grow that channel within the channel. So share that with everybody in your church. Share that with your friends. Share that with your enemies. It is just a channel that will change people's life, because I know you've told me it has. You've told me it has. I want to just end this Sunday afternoon chat by talking about the gifts that God's given each one of you. God has given you special gifts and talents that you need to use. Some of you, it's a gift of making a lot of money. Some of you can sing. Some of you can pick a guitar, play a piano. Some of you can draw. Some of you are just exuberant, friendly people. You have the gift of love. You exude love. You smile a lot. I just want to talk to you about the most important thing you could do with the gifts that God's given you is share them with the world. Share them with the world. Give those gifts away. Use those gifts for God's glory day by day by day by day. We had a man from Guatemala that was in Keys Baptist Church this morning that has got a casa a casa, you know, the house of my father. I lost it real quick what the name is, but the house of my father, where they take in little kids that are beaten over there in Guatemala, and just it's a foster home type deal. And he was talking about, he talked about when Jesus talked about that the people that he would separate, when he separated the sheep from the goats, the people he would separate and take into his kingdom, heaven, were the people that fed him when he was hungry, the people that gave him water when he was thirsty, the people that clothed him when he was naked, the people that doctored him when he was sick, the people that came to see him when he was in prison. He said, those are the people that I'm going to separate to go into the kingdom of heaven, is the people that done that. The rest of you, I don't know. And the people that he separated on the good side said, God, when did we do that? Jesus, when did we feed you when you were hungry? When did we give you water when you were thirsty? When did we visit you in prison? When did we go see you in the hospital? When did we clothe you when you were naked? And Jesus answered, when you do these things to the least of mine, you're doing them to me. And that's exactly what this minister from Guatemala was doing. He had about 20, 25 kids at his house that he raised from 2, 3, 4 years old, 5 years old, 7, 8 years old, to adulthood. And they were kids that were the poorest, the most mistreated, the most malnutritioned, beaten to death almost every single day, sexually abused, the least of the people in Guatemala where he was. And it just touched my heart that we have the opportunity to do that every single day. Y'all will have the opportunity today to feed Jesus. You'll have the opportunity tomorrow to give Jesus a drink of cold water. You'll have the opportunity the next day to clothe Jesus when he's naked, to visit him in the hospital, to visit him in prison. Because if you do that for any of his people, you're doing it directly to Jesus. I can tell you from past experience, Jesus will reward you for that. He says in the scripture in Matthew 25, I'll reward you by taking you to my place to live. Jesus Christ lives in heaven. Go out there this week, make it a great week. Make sure that you use what God has given you to help others. You're going to use your talents for yourself a lot because that's just what we do. But use your talents, your gifts. Use you to help others this week. And I promise you, you're going to put a big old smile on God's heart. Guys and girls, have a great one. And remember, I sure do love you.